welcome to episode number 5 of the Wonderwolle podcast. My name is Andrea. I am on Ravelry as AndeeJ, and I have a blog which is www.healthykidshappymama.com, and that's where you'll find the show notes for the Wonderwolle podcast. And also we have a Ravelry group which is Wonderwolle podcast on Ravelry, so have a look there and please come and join in, because I really enjoy interacting with people on Ravelry. I love the knitting community, and that is one of the reasons why I started this podcast. So welcome to you if you're a new viewer, and I really hope that you enjoy the podcast, and if you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back, as I know there is so many podcasts out there to watch. I have been a little affected actually by the number of podcasts out there to watch this fortnight, because there are the podcasts that I really love watching, and there's the podcasts that I'd like to try out, but there's just not enough time in the day. There is so many great podcasts out there now, and it hasn't been particularly busy this past fortnight, but I've been really tired, and I've been going to bed really early and not been watching any podcasts, and not actually been knitting that much either. So it's a little bit, it's good to give yourself that extra rest sometimes, especially when you have children who like to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I think it's because it's getting lighter earlier. It's the last day of winter. Yay! Can I just say yay? Although it doesn't mean much yet here. It doesn't really warm up here in Canberra until October, and then it's nice. We have 1 or 2 nice weeks in September, and then we'll have like a cold snap. Even towards the end of October we can have cold snaps. The rule of thumb is that you don't plant your tomato plants until after Melbourne Cup Day, which is the first Tuesday in November. So and I did, you know, it took me a few years to realise that, yep, that's pretty much true. There's no point in, sorry, there's a hair annoying me. There's no point in planting tomato plants before then, because you will get a frost right up until the first week of November. There's frosts. They're few and far between, and you can, you know, take your chances and run outside every night and cover your veggies with, or your frost-sensitive veggies with sheets and towels and whatever, but really there's no point, because, you know, it doesn't really get nice until November. But I'll take what I can get. So the odd week here and there of nice warm days is better than nothing at all. I think I still suffer a little bit from being a Queenslander. I grew up in Brisbane, and in Brisbane, by the time you get to September, it's hot. There's, you know, it's approaching 30 degrees at 6:30 in the morning already, and I think I miss it, but I probably don't actually, because it gets pretty uncomfortable, I think, up there in summer. So, and I honestly have forgotten what it's like. I have not been back to Brisbane in summer probably for 6 years, 5-6 years. So I really have forgotten what it's like, and that's a little bit sad actually. But we're going to be going up to Queensland in December or January this year, so I'll remember pretty quickly, I think. I'm looking forward to it though. My mum still lives in Brisbane, and my sister, so it's nice to go and visit and let the boys visit their aunt and nana. So this week I have one finished object. I have a near finished object, but not quite. I have a few works in progress. I don't have a adventure this week because I haven't really been anywhere notable or done anything exciting this past fortnight, which is a bit sad, but oh well. And some acquisitions and a little bit of pondering. So let's get into it, hey? I'll start with the finished object, which I don't actually have to show you, which is really pointless, I know. I have, where have I put it? Oh, I put it in a project bag. That would be useful. I made a hat for my friend's son. And it is the, oh, I'll just get the pattern, hang on. It is the farm beanie, that one there, and the pattern is by Alison Britt, and I think it was a free pattern on Ravelry. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I made the child size because this boy was turning 7, and I made it with I didn't even take a picture. Yesterday it was his birthday party and I got distracted cleaning out my craft room when I was meant to be wrapping up his present, and in the process I completely forgot to take a photo. But my 6.5-year-old, he really likes it, so and it was quick. It was really quick to knit, so I'm probably going to make one for him. But to give you an idea, this is the yarn that I used, and just like that. So this one on the little top, on the bottom bit here, and then this is Cleckheaton Country 8-ply, and it's a teal colour, and this is Motivera Harmony, which is and I think this is 90% wool, 10% acrylic, and this one is 50% acrylic, 50% wool, and it's a single. I don't know if you can see that. I didn't particularly love this wool, I have to say. I think there's acrylic and then there's acrylic, and this is the second one. It's really average. It is from Spotlight, and I believe it's discontinued. It didn't felt, but it went very fuzzy when I washed it and tried to give it a little bit of a blocking, because it wasn't sitting very nicely after I finished the hat. It was really an odd shape and it didn't want to sort of sit the way that it should, so I sort of wet it and flattened it out a little bit. And but this wool was really not very nice to knit with. It was really stiff on my hands. It doesn't have any sort of bounce in it at all. So I'm not really looking forward to knitting a second one for my boy, but he wants one. So and it was quick, so I'll probably start that this week, I think. And then this yarn will be gone and I never have to look at it again, so yay. That was that, and I'm really sorry I didn't take a picture. I'll try and take a picture next time I'm at their house, and then I'll at least have evidence that I did actually finish the hat. And so that's my one and only finished object. I wanted really, really badly to finish a couple of things this week, and that's what I'll show you next, but it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It's been one of those weeks where I've been had the dilemma of, do I clean the house or do I knit? And it's not, for some people that wouldn't be a dilemma. It would be, well, I'm just going to knit, of course. But I really needed to do some housework this week, and it's spring nearly. Tomorrow it's spring, and you know, spring cleaning and wanting to open the house up a little bit, and we've had some visitors coming over, and we always tidy up when there's visitors. In fact, my son, he said the other day, he goes, "Mum, do we only clean up when we have people coming over?" And unfortunately that's pretty much true. Not really. I mean, we do have a light clean every weekend, but a proper, heavy, thorough clean only happens when we have people coming over. So I think that's most people. Do you do that? I just don't have time on a normal week, and I get tired by the end of the week, and so to find the energy to do a big thorough clean every single week is hard work, I find. Some people would pay a cleaner to do that, but yeah, I can't justify that because that would be like $70 a fortnight less I'd have for yarn and other things. So yeah, I'll take that suffering of cleaning, I think. So that's the finished objects section all done. Now, this is one of the things that I really wanted to be finished this week, and I have done a little bit on it, but not as much as I'd hoped. My fingerless mitts for my sister-in-law. So last week I'd only done about that much, so I've done this much now. I tried them on my other sister-in-law who has much bigger hands, and they fit her, so I'm sure that they will fit Lucy, which is great. And I'm just up to the bit where I have to do the increases for the thumb. And there's a reason why I haven't done any more on that, and it's because of my other work in progress. Put this down. My other work in progress, or one of my other work in progress, is my For the Love of Rainbow shawl. And as you can see, it's gotten a lot bigger, growing quite a bit. It's lovely, it's beautiful, but I had a little mishap. I really have been working so hard to try and get this shawl finished. But I had a little mishap yesterday, and I'll finish it, but it's not going to be finished until next weekend, and possibly not till the next podcast. And I'm going to talk about that mishap in my ponderings at the end. You might notice that there's a big hole. There's a big hole! I can't believe it. And I'll talk more about that at the end. But it's coming together really nicely. Oh, that's the wrong side. And it's going to be massive. And I really like it, and I can't wait to wear it. So I wanted to say thank you to Mina. This is For the Love of Rainbows by Mina Phillip, who is the host of the Knitting Expat podcast. I test knit this for her. She's already released the pattern, so it's available to purchase. But sorry, my cat's come to visit. If she jumps up on my lap, I'll pick her up and show you her face today, because I realised I didn't do that last time. It's a really great pattern. I really am enjoying knitting it. It's enough interest to keep you interested, but it's still interesting because of the changes in the stitch count and the pattern. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ends to weave in at the end, but that's okay. I think it'll be absolutely lovely when it's finished. And yes, and I'll talk about that little mishap in the ponderings section. So I'll put that down. The other work in progress that I've actually been doing some work on this week is my socks. And I don't know even where I was up to last time on these, but I feel like the slowest knitter in the world. The cat's coming up. I feel like the slowest knitter in the world this fortnight, because everything there seems to be no progress happening on anything. I just feel like it's the never-ending sock. I'm knitting. Same with that little glove. Never-ending glove. Knit. Here is Chicken coming to say hello. Puss. Okay, she's just going to sit on my lap, I think. Yeah, so it's the never-ending sock, and I don't know if it's because of the rib sort of pattern, and we all know that ribbing seems to just go on forever and ever. But that's where I'm up to. I think I've got about 20 to 30 rows left before I can start the toe decrease. This wool is Filda Folk 100 in the Bengal colorway, and I like it. It's pretty, but it doesn't do that thing that other self-striping, well, it does do that thing that other self-striping yarns do, but in terms of it doesn't sort of egg you on like other self-striping yarns do. And I think it's because the color is just one after the other, the same thing, and you don't get a really crisp color change because it's more of a graduated color change. I can't remember the name of the pattern that I'm using because I've memorized it, but basically it's knit 6, purl 2 every second round, and then every other round is knit around. And yeah, so slowly, I think I'm going to give these away as a Christmas present to my sister-in-law. Not that I don't like them, I think because they've annoyed me so much in actually knitting them, and they've taken so long, that I need to get rid of them because they will annoy me. So that's the other thing that I've actually been doing work on. And yeah, about 20 rows to go on that one. The other work in progress that I have got going, which I haven't done any work on, but I haven't shown it to you yet either, is another Cables for Lara hat, which is another Mina Phillip pattern, knitting expat, and this is the just the brim that I've done. That's all I've done on it. The wool that I'm using is an acrylic and wool blend, Creative Melange Chunky in the 7471 colorway. I bought this on loveknitting.com, and you can see that the balls are a bit different, but they end up being identical. It's a 50% wool, 50% acrylic blend, and I've got that in one of my prototype bags. And yeah, I mean, again, it's one of the things that I haven't been doing any work on this fortnight, so hopefully maybe next week it'll be another one of those small projects that I've finished so that I can get some things off my needles. Yeah, but we'll see how we go with that. I haven't done any other work on any other projects. I haven't done anything on my Quaker Ridge shawlette this week, mainly because I've been trying to get that For the Love of Rainbow shawl finished, but yeah, everything's just taking me so long this week, and I don't know why. Why am I being a slow knitter this week? I don't know that I am being a slow knitter. I think that I am not. I think I have had not as much knitting time. Oh, I remember. I had a sore neck. That's right. I had one of those things where you sleep a little funny and your neck gets a bit of a crick in it, and it sort of pinched a nerve or something, and it was right down the back of my left side, and it was painful to knit. I couldn't you know, I tend to hold a lot of tension in this arm when I'm knitting, and I knit continental, so I'm holding the tension of the wool in this arm, and I tend to hold it up like that or lean it on a chair arm, and yeah, it was just too painful, so I was only doing a little bit here and there. I've got some tea here today. I'm just going to have a sip because I've got a little bit of a sore throat. It's called Governor's Estate, and it's calming, apparently. And it's got peach flowers in it, and it's got a beautiful scent. So if you're in Australia, you can buy it at Coles, I think that's where I got it, Coles or Woolworths. But yeah, it's really, really, I drink it for the scent more than anything, actually. So that's nice. Okay, so acquisitions. I have bought a few things that haven't arrived, so they can be for next week. But my most favourite purchase this week, my most exciting purchase this week, has been my ball winder. Yay, a ball winder. But I didn't buy Yarn Swift, not yet. So I'm still using the two chairs, two kitty chairs. And if you follow me on Instagram, there was a photo of two kitty chairs that I've put the wool around, and I unwind it a few rounds, and then I tension the yarn in one hand and turn the ball winder in the other hand. And it's just up here, I'll get it. It's just a ball winder. I bought it on eBay and it was not expensive. It was like $20 Australian. So if it lasts me, I don't know, a year, I'll be happy. And I've caked up some balls, and I'll get them to show you. This was the first one I did. This is my Manos del Uruguay Alegria in Tannet, and I love how it's come out like this. This gives me such a better idea of what it's going to knit up like, and I love it. When I had this in the skein, I did not love it so much, but now I'm really looking forward to knitting up with this. And I'm going to make brickless. That's what I bought this for, the brickless pattern, out of this yarn. And so that is my very first ball winder wound cake of yarn. Yay! And then I went on a little bit of a ball winding frenzy and wound up all of the cakes of yarn that I had accidentally unwound the skein on and not wound it back up again. So this is the second one that I did. This is a little bit better. This is a DK. The fibre company Terra in the Belladonna colourway. It's a funny colour. It's like a brown, but it's got tones of blue and mauve. It's I don't know if that is coming up okay or not, but I'm going to make a hat out of this, and I'll see if I like it when the hat is done, because I don't really like the colour. It looks very different online to what it looks like in person. Let's just say that. And then the other one I skeined up was my, this is Misty Alpaca, Tonus worsted in the pink sapphire colourway. And this was it was so knotted. It was just, it had been hanging on my door, on the hook on the back of my door for ages. And I just had to skein it up because it was so messy. So I think I have some things saved in my Ravelry library favourites for this one, but cowls mainly is what I'm thinking, is a cowl for that one. And so I'm not that interested. I probably won't knit this up until autumn next year, end of summer maybe, before autumn, because it's my colour. I love this colour, but it's too heavy and warm to wear in summer. So that will be a autumn, winter next year. And then I also got this week in the mail, and I wound this by hand because I was planning on starting something this week, and then it didn't happen. This is, oh, what's going on here? Sorry, it's all tangled up. There we go. This is Flock and Needle. Oh, she's on Etsy. Flock and Needle. and this is her fingering weight merino silk 50-50 blend, and the colorway is called Ice Maiden, and it's like a very, very icy light blue. It's not what I was expecting. It's much, much lighter in and it's showing up on the camera here the very color that it is, but on her website on Etsy it looked a lot darker, and it was not really the color that I was hoping for the shawl that I was planning to make with it, which is the Brighton Beach shawl. And I'll just show you that pattern. My book's fallen down. Which is this one here. And I don't know if I will knit that yarn into that shawl yet. The other thing that I'm thinking of using it for is the Swedish Spring by Maria Monska, who has the Stitched in Sweden podcast, and that this one here. I'm not sure, to be honest. It feels very different to my other merino silk yarns that I have. I think it feels like it's got more silk. It's got more of a silk feel to it than a merino feel to it. So, and I can tell just by the yarn that whatever I knit from it is going to be very drapey. So I'm still thinking about that one. And the other thing I got, which was just a random spur of the moment purchase, was this skein here of Misty Alpaca sock yarn, and I bought it because I really like the colors. Look at the colors, they're so pretty, so bright, and so I'm really looking forward to knitting up that, probably socks, because it's super soft. I will go on Ravelry and have a look at what other people have knit with this colorway. It is Misty Alpaca hand paint sock yarn, colorway NHS56. So creative. So yeah, it's very soft. So that will probably be socks. It is 50% alpaca, 30% merino, 10% silk, and 10% nylon. So that was just a bit of a treat, because I was at the shop buying something else. I was at the one of the local yarn stores buying, I'm doing this craft swap, and I was buying this little, the girl that I'm swapping with, I don't think she watches my podcast, likes cross stitch, and so I was buying this little cross stitch kit to go in the craft swap, and I'm also putting in this little packet of stickers and a project bag. So so yes, that's to go in that, and I've got to get that sent off this week because I think it was meant to be sent last week. And I have been on a little bit of a pattern buying frenzy this last week. I think I've bought like 4 patterns. So the Stitched in Sweden pattern was one of them, and then I bought the rose petal shawl. I've been calling it the rose garden shawl, but she calls it rose petal shawl here. And this pattern is a pattern by my friend Christina from Christina's Knitting Catch Up podcast, and it's very, very recently released on Ravelry, and I saw it in person because I met Christina. We had coffee or hot chocolate at Cocoa Black, which is a chocolatier in Canberra, about 2 weeks ago, And she's really, really lovely. She is just like she is in her podcast in person, but she was wearing this shawl, and oh gosh, it was lovely. I really liked the way that it looked on, and I haven't got colour because the people at work where I've been doing my printing have been cracking down on printing in colour, so I've only got black and white. But you can go and check it out. Her Ravelry name is Chrysaah, ChriSaah, and that's it there. And I will be knitting that, and I've ordered some yarn from a seller on Etsy who I've never purchased from before, so hopefully it's really lovely. It looked beautiful in the photograph, and I will I'll be knitting that up next. So that's next on my list of things to knit. And the other patterns that I bought this week were the asterism pattern, and I am going to use my this skein here of Tumac Valley yarns fingering weight to make that pattern. And that pattern is by Janina Kalo. And the other one I bought was another one by her called Orbit, and that's a DK weight shawl. And the reason it was a package deal. She had the both of them for a price which was cheaper than buying them individually. So I thought, I like them both, I'll just get them both. But the Orbit shawl is DK weight, and I keep seeing all these beautiful hand-dyed, indie-dyed DK weight yarns on Etsy, and I think to myself, what would I knit with that? Because they're beautiful and they're all variegated or hand painted and they're lovely, but it's not something that I could see myself buying to knit into a garment necessarily, or even a hat. So I thought it's good to have that sort of a pattern tucked away so that you can use it if you want to. Don't think there's anything else that I bought this week that I've printed out. Nope. So that, yes, I have had a busy buying week for patterns. And yeah, so that was good. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is my knit-along. I have a knit-along happening in the podcast group on Ravelry. It's called Turn of the Season, and it's all about knitting something for the new season, because we are at the end of winter, and I quite like celebrating the end of winter, as if you didn't guess that already. So there's a few entries already, which are lovely. There's a beautiful cardigan and a couple of other entries in there, and it's exciting. So please join in. Feel free to double dip in other cows that are going on at the moment. And yeah, it's going to be good. And I can't wait to see what Northern Hemisphere people enter, because that gives me inspiration for next autumn for me. So please enter, regardless of whether you're a Northern Hemisphere person or a Southern Hemisphere person. And the prize for that knit along is going to be a pattern kit from Knit Picks. And if you're not in a country that Knit Picks sends to, then I'll get it sent to me, and then I will send it on to you. So I did pick out the Mesa shawl pattern kit from Knit Picks, which is a cotton summer shawl. But if you're from the Northern Hemisphere and you would rather have something, or the Southern Hemisphere, and you would rather have a shawl pattern that was for winter, then I am open to negotiations. So that's one of the prizes, and I'm hoping that there will be a few others. So if you do have something that you want to contribute as a prize, then please let me know by sending me a message on Ravelry. There was a couple of other acquisitions, and I forgot to share them with you, which is bad of me because that was a little present that I got, and it was really exciting. I got home and I won't mention the name of the person who sent it because she didn't say that I could, but I got home, I wasn't expecting it at all, and there was a parcel in my letterbox, and I opened it, and there was yarn and tea and some pencils for the kids, and it was very exciting. It made me in such a good mood all the rest of that day. So she gave me this lovely little card with a note, and I got some pencils with Canada or Niagara Falls on them, and some Tim Horton Earl Grey tea, and she's written, Tim Horton is the tea/coffee place in Hamilton. So she's from Hamilton in Canada. I haven't, there was only once. I haven't tried it yet, but I love Earl Grey tea. It's my favourite flavoured tea. So, yeah, looking forward to trying that. And then she sent me some, sorry, there's a whole bunch of mini skeins in here, which I'll show you in a minute. A really pretty fabric fat quarter, which I don't know what I'll do with, but I'll put it into something, I'm sure. And then a whole bunch of mini skeins of all these different wools, which I'm so excited to try. This one is, oh, the tags are all falling off. This one here I was super excited about because this one is the Plucky Knitter Fingering Superwash, and there's only 2 grams, so it won't be enough for a whole square on my blanket, but I'll blend it with something else that I have and make a square for my blanket. So that one I was really excited to get a sample of, because the Plucky Knitter is one of those brands which is just a little bit unattainable in Australia at the moment. A, because they have store stockings and you've got to be available at the right time to purchase it, but B, because the cost once you add shipping and the exchange rate is just too much. So I was really excited to get that one, and this is a lace weight by Tanis Fiber Arts, another one which I was excited to get a chance to have a go. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to, it's because it's lace weight, there's only 2 grams there, but I might be able to hold it doubled and get enough for a square in my shawl. And then I've got some, oh, the tag's fallen off, some Madeline Tosh sock, which is another one that I've wanted to try, and it is really nice. The colour is lovely. So, yay! And then a little Barocco 8-ply. So that was super, super exciting. I never get presents, and it was so awesome to get presents. So I think I'm going to become like a little swap addict now and do lots of swaps so I get presents. And my kids think it's fun too. So yes, so that was super exciting. I was so happy to get that in the mail. And then on the weekend, I wasn't bored, but the kids were outside playing, and it was a nice, bright, shiny day, and I had this ball of natural coloured wool that I didn't know what I was going to do with, and so I made a lot of mini skeins and did some dyeing with food colouring, and this is what the outcome was. So lots of colours. I did some, hang on, some greens and some blues. And Oh, that one's Madeline Tosh. I did not dye that. I did not write down how I did any of these, which is a bit silly because some of them have come out really, really nice and I would like to be able to replicate them. This one in particular, you can't tell, you won't be able to tell, but in the light it gives off like burgundies and purple. I love it. It's really, really nice. And then there's some pinks and reds and a whole bunch of purpley colours. And I did this without, I had no yellow. I had no yellow food colouring. This is just a Queen brand food colouring in Australia. I only had green, rose pink, pillar box red, black and blue. So I think that is an amazing array of colours that I've managed to get from just those colours. I don't know if dyeing, I need to do a bit more research actually, and in fact what I need to do is watch some old episodes of a podcast by Rose Hip Knits, and I did watch one episode of hers this week and she does some really awesome dyeing using food colouring, so I need to watch some of her old episodes. I think that they're colour fast or colour, yeah, the colour won't bleed. When I rinsed them, the colour, there was no colour coming out of the yarn. So, but I mean, they're only going to go in my blanket or be used for swaps. So, yeah, it was so much fun. I just kept going, oh, I'll just do one more. Oh, I'll just do one more. Okay, I'll just put some black in. Okay, I'll just do one more. And it just went on for like 3 hours. So in summer, I'm going to do some full skeins with some acid dyes. So that will be fun. And that really is all the acquisitions and the funness for this week. I did do some spinning. I've spun up almost all of the second bag of robing that I had. I just haven't finished it yet. So spinning is not my highest priority. I do like it, but and I was doing some spinning last week when my neck was sore. But it's just one of those things that is at the bottom of the pile, and if I don't feel like knitting but I feel like doing something creative, I'll sit down and do some spinning. So my ponderings for this week, I wanted to ponder knitting mistakes, because I'm pretty good at making mistakes in knitting, I have to say, but then I think that I'm actually getting much better at fixing my mistakes. What happened with my shawl, my For the Love of Rainbows shawl, is that there was a knot in my yarn, and that's the two ends of the knot, and the knot came undone when I'd knit this much more and the knot came undone. I didn't tie the knot, it was in the yarn, and I didn't notice it when I was knitting. So I didn't really know what to do. I did some research. I looked online at what other people had done, and I decided that the best way to fix it was to pull out that piece of where the knot was. So, take it a fair way back. The knot was in the middle, so I've taken it a fair way back on each side, and I've got a little tail there, and I think I may even have to take it back a little further yet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to graft the two pieces together, And because it's a gradient yarn, I have to wait till I get to the white in the ball until I can actually do this. And so what I've done there is I've just put 2 circular needles in there to hold the stitches, and I will graft it like the toe of a sock, and then I will weave in or knit in these ends to, you know, keep it secured. And that is the only way, other than ripping back, that I can think to fix this problem. I could have ripped back. I hadn't done that much more, but, well, I have had an adventure since that little last cutout and having to come back. The video, I did do the end of the video, and then I went to upload it onto my computer to edit, and it was a corrupted file, and I've had to do it again. So I just watched it. I could play it. It was weird. I could play it on the computer, but I couldn't upload it into the editing software. So yeah, doesn't matter. I can re-record. So I was talking about my little surgical, my little surgery on my shawl. So I have a big hole which I'm going to graft. There's only one row there that's a problem, so I'm going to graft it. I might have to rip these stitches here back a little bit more because the ends here are not particularly long. But I had to do a fair bit of research to come to that conclusion. I was looking online, and it's hard to Google what to do when a knot in your knitting comes undone. You don't get very many results for that. You just get results that tell you not to tie knots in your knitting because they come undone. Funnily enough, I have a cat who wants to sit on me. Hi Puss. What was I going to say? So eventually I thought, well, I'll just undo the knot and I'll do exactly what I've done. Unravel a few strands of the knitting and put the other 2 rows above and below on stitch markers, and then go from there. And so then I googled how to fix holes in knitting, and I came across a nice article on the Twist Collective online magazine's site, and it basically talks about small problems, medium problems, and giant problems. And I fell asleep before I got to the giant problems page, but it was really, really informative. And interestingly, reading some of those things, I have realized that my ability to fix problems in my knitting has improved so much. And I don't know if it's because I've got more confidence to tackle the problems, or whether I just know that there is a fix to many of the problems that happen in your knitting, and that it's easier sometimes to go and check out how to fix that problem than it is to rip back and do that section again. And I think, even though it is a big section of grafting, I think that that will be less traumatic to me, assuming it all goes well, than ripping it back to that row and doing that whole section again. I do have to just wait until because it's a gradient yarn, I just have to wait till I get to the white part of the yarn, so that I can snip that section out and use it for the grafting. But I've got plenty of yarn left in the skein. I think I won't even come close to using that whole skein for that shawl, so that's pretty good, I think. So I'm really happy that I've come so far in learning to fix my knitting. It makes it a lot more enjoyable, and when you think about it, the fixes are not that hard. So that was something that I have realised this week about my knitting, and I'm super glad that I have. In my first recording, I did talk about the plans that I have for the next little while. I'll get my folder over here. I keep all my printed out patterns in this folder, and it's just a folder with plastic sleeves that I slip them into. But some patterns I don't print, some patterns I just use my iPad for. It depends if I'm planning to go places and use that pattern while I'm out and about, or just to use it while I'm at home. Now, my list. What have I done with my list? Oh, I've put it in my book. It's over here, actually. So this is my list for the next few months of knitting plans and goals. I have not actually accomplished many of the ones from August, but that's okay. They can just keep going. It's not life or death. It's just knitting. I do really want to finish that For the Love of Rainbow shawl, because I want to start another shawl, and that is that Brighton Beach shawl that I showed you earlier. And I also want to really want to start the Rose Petal shawl by Christina from Christina's Knitting Catch Up. And I really want to finish those socks because they've just been going on, and I just am craving to knit a pair of just vanilla socks, because it's the pattern in those socks that's doing my head in, and I just want to knit some vanilla socks so that I can have some, you know, fast knitting that is satisfying to knit. I am going to buy a yarn Swift this month, and maybe next month I'll buy a Niddy Noddy. And then in October I need to start knitting Christmas presents, because last year I did the crazy knitting Christmas presents before Christmas, and it's not that nice. So I have a pair of socks for my brother-in-law that I want to knit, and a hat for my sister-in-law. So only small things, but better start. That way, if terrible things happen to them, I've got more time to keep going later. The other thing I wanted to mention was there was a podcast that I've been watching this last week, which I've really been enjoying. It's called I'm sitting and there's people walking past and I keep getting distracted by them. The Happy Knitting podcast is done by a German girl whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, but she does beautiful work, and she's got a lot of energy, and she's very happy, and she's really young. So I've been enjoying her podcast. So go and check that out, the Happy Knitting podcast. I'm going to finish up there today. The cat has rejoined me here on my lap. I have a child about to visit me. You want to say hello?
Hello. Me holding paper.
We're going to say goodbye now. I'm going.
Bye-bye.
I'm finishing. All right, so we're going to say goodbye now, and enjoy your knitting for the next 2 weeks and craft yourself happy.